carrying on from like all around trusting your instincts, one of the strangest things that I've learned time on this earth is that there seems to be there seems to be this massive or major rush, you know, from 0 to 10 you're rushed through these processes in life, and then 10 to 20 you're rushed through these processes in life, so school, whatever it is, things that are constantly molding you and shaping you and trying to make you this or that or similar to this or whatever it is, conform, learn, educate you, and then it's like the expectation, the laid out expectation is in your 20s you should be all of these things and do all of these things, and it's just bizarre. If there's a billion people on this planet and we're all unique and we're all individuals, whilst I can see the benefits of school to some degree, you know, obviously school is a place where some people, that's their first experience of love, and it may not be the perfect example, but togetherness, being around people, socializing, having friends that are good friends and good people obviously help your school experience, but school also creates a lot of trauma, without a doubt. I think school is actually your first experience of trauma bonds, but that's a conversation for another video. But I think in terms of trusting your instincts, and this can be it can be much harder when you're younger, so when you're going through these process years, because you're literally just navigating this world. You're literally stepping one foot in front of the other, trying to find your way. And I think what younger people often not told is that that doesn't change. You may be growing in age, but in terms of stepping one foot in front of the other and constantly trying to navigate things, that's consistent, or it should be consistent throughout your life, because that means that shows you're growing. Obviously, if you're doing something 2 on the clock the same all the time, and there's no progress, you're just in the same space, then that's a clear indication for you that there's no growth. And you get to decide, you know, if you're going to continue doing the same thing and potentially have no progress. I mean, you'll grow no matter what. Time is always going, no matter what, you're always growing. But you've got to look at it as, am I growing in a way that is bettering me, or am I just growing and staying in the same place? And you know what? The reality is, it is up to you. You do get to decide, but you have to be wise enough to know that you get to decide. So you get to decide to pivot, make that move, jump, do something scary, do something that you haven't done before, take that risk, or do you stay in the same place, same environments? The same environments that hurt you aren't going to be the environments that grow you. I don't know, in my experience, it's impossible, because you're stuck in a loop. And that's also true 333 on the block of, like, you could say that's true of humanity on the whole. There's some things that have been played out for so long and so repetitive that they're just a repeating cycle, and that repeating cycle prevents humanity from evolving. Like, in terms of human beings knowing their true depth and their true intelligence, I think we're far from it, to be honest with you, because in order to know that stuff about yourself, you have to dig deep, and healing is something that is very difficult, and yeah, healing's difficult. I think anyone that tells you otherwise is not really healing, because obviously, again, dependent on your circumstances, dependent on the kind of things that you've experienced, how badly you've been hurt, whether or not you avoid yourself or you are present with yourself, will determine how much you're able to actually heal. And so it's just very, very, very important to trust yourself, trust your instincts, understand that there'll be times in life and experiences in life where people will lead you astray. People will intentionally lead you astray, by the way, and then make out like you're a bad person. because you followed them. You've got to understand, especially if you're young as well, you are going to be more inclined to try things with people or follow people because you think, this person's your friend, this person is doing something that maybe you're interested in, and so you'll follow them. But it doesn't mean everyone's leading you correctly, and it doesn't mean that everyone that is trying to lead you is doing so with heart. And also be very mindful and wary of anyone who leads with sex when it comes to you. Anyone who leads with that doesn't know how to love, and often you'll find that as much as they'll say it's whether or not they like you and blah blah blah, like, no, it's crap, because people can like you but not know how to love. 555 on the clock. Not know how to love at all, have never been loved, and so they're operating from this open wound that is just pouring nastiness onto other people. And the fault is that instead of trying to better themselves and instead of trying to grow as a human being, they keep doing the same thing. It's like you keep going to pick apples knowing that apples rotten. So it's like, that's a key component when it comes to healing, when it comes to loving yourself. When it comes to loving yourself, you literally have to be able to sit with yourself and do the work. Being sober is the biggest test, I believe. Maybe just right now, where I am right now, but I believe being sober is the biggest test, because being sober means you have to be present with yourself every single day, and that can be extremely hard, which is why a lot of people avoid it. It can be very hard to be present with yourself every day, because if every day you're going to have to check yourself and look at, am I operating correctly? Is this decision a good decision? Being that conscious of yourself, being that self-aware is hard, because especially if you're coming from a place where you've never had to be that conscious, or if you're around other people, witnessing other people, in ignorance is bliss. But the reality is once you're there, there's no turning back. So you'd be wise to really just focus on progressing and being true to yourself. Protect yourself, please. As I said previously, anyone who leads with sex is not serious. And I think when you're younger as well, in my opinion, women are capable, girls are capable of love, like actually genuinely loving people. And unfortunately, some people come from a place where they haven't been loved properly, they haven't been loved at all, or they've been with people that are nasty, horrible people that have hurt them and broke them, and what do? Perpetuate the cycle. Love is too hard an emotion to deal with, and being cared for is too hard of an emotion to deal with, specifically if you don't love yourself. If you don't love yourself and someone is trying to love you, it's useless. It's useless, because actually the people that don't love themselves become resentful of the people that are trying to love them. Like, it's wild, it really is. But I say all that to say, like, please protect yourself, and please look after yourself, and please love yourself. Please trust your instincts. Please trust your inner knowing, and understand that people will do the craziest of stuff and try to make it out like you're the person that's bad, and it's actually really sick. And so I say that to say also, please be strong enough in yourself and love yourself enough to make sure that you don't allow projections to tell you who you are. I'll never forget once this person that I wouldn't even call it CM, whatever, but basically they tried to get me to sleep with their brother and them, and it's like I was just chilling in the room with him, but then the brother came in, and because I got up and left, he shouted at me and called me a slag. And it's like, it's so easy in those moments to like take things on, but how are you a slag when you're leaving the room, when you've got respect? So just be mindful. People will do dodgy and nasty things and try and plant it on you. Know yourself, love yourself, and keep going.